Ba 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 bum 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 bum. It's news at 8 on a Thursday. Bim, guess what? It's news time. I'm going to be looking at the news for this week, giving my opinion on it. You can listen to this as a podcast, watch it live, or watch it back on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, etc., etc. Join in the chat if you want. We've had a couple of guests appearing in the chat, which is always good. There have been three main stories this week. Apparently I'm online. Who knew? Well, the one person watching. Hi T. It's one of those. Oh, and Angela as well. Welcome. It's been not a great week of news this week. Could have been worse in one case, but generally speaking, it's not been a good week for news. So we have to go through the pretty rubbishy stuff first, and then hopefully at the end we'll have a bit of lighter news, things that you didn't notice, things that you may have missed on the way to just listening to bad news all the time. So, shall we kick off with the two bad stories that are kind of linked by one bad man? Of course, I'm talking about Putin and... Oops. Hello. I'm talking about Putin. Do you want to go away, please? Silence. Thank you. Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu. I drew frequency. People are joining as we get going. Big bongos. Oh, this might be a ban. Go on. No, I've not heard of Jack or Watch. About there we go. There we go. Right then, shall we crack on? Yep, we're off. Right then, so, serious news. Tragic news. Continuing tragic news. Benjamin Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin, despite Trump's best efforts of trying to make money, the wars seem to be continuing. Who knew? I think a lot of it has got to do with the fact that Trump has gotten himself into a situation where he's trying to make money from both of these things. He signed a deal, or he's signing a deal, or he has signed a deal with Ukraine for loads of minerals, which of course is why Russia are invading Ukraine, because they want the minerals, so why would they let America have them? I mean, that's a no-brainer. And then obviously he wants to turn Gaza into like a holiday resort, Trump kind of holiday resort with holiday towers and everything. But meanwhile, thousands of people have got to die in the process. So Monday the 23rd in Ukraine, prisoner swap with Russia and Ukraine. So things were looking up at this point. Saturday the 24th, Israel Review reports that they killed 9 children from the same family at a hospital. The children ranged between 6 months and 10 years old. And Ukraine, on the same day, more Russian strikes in Ukraine and another prisoner swap. Sunday the 21st, more evidence of impact of 11-week blockade on Gaza, which is basically starving children, etc. Also on that day, Ukraine suffers heaviest attack from Russia. 30 cities attacked, and it was the last day of prisoner swaps, which seems, I don't understand quite what's going on in Russia's head, but there you go, that's what they do. Also, on Monday the 26th, Trump says Putin is gone crazy after more airstrikes in Ukraine. Over 350 attack drones, ramping up the hits on various cities and infrastructure in Ukraine. Meanwhile, in Gaza, more deaths in Gaza as Netanyahu and his morons kill more kids. This time at a school, 35 dead, including more children. Wednesday the 28th, Zelensky says Russia has put tens of thousands of troops on the border, ready for another mass land invasion, he thinks. It doesn't know, I don't know, I'm not seeing any photographs of this, but it does seem feasible. And today in Gaza, 22 new settlements in the West Bank. Israel say that they're planning. They don't own the West Bank. They are literally invading the West Bank and putting people in there. They're basically land grabbing, which is what I've been saying since practically the start of the Gaza war, and they're now doing it in the West Bank as well. But he says he agrees to a US a proposed peace deal with Gaza. But the US said there must be more aid going into Gaza, because the aid going into Gaza at the moment is not enough for 2 million people, and of course people are fighting over it. That's what they're going to do. It's just horrendous that people are using, well, I'll say people, use the term loosely, that they are using this food as an excuse to actually, as a weapon to actually, what are you doing, cat? To inflict, well, horror on people. Let them starve to death. No medicines, no nothing. Yeah, no time for any of those three men at the minute. Meanwhile, the other big story this week began on Bank Holiday Monday. There was a massive parade and celebration as Liverpool Football Club won, well, they'd already won the Premier League, and they were parading their trophy on an open-top bus, as is tradition. Absolutely horrendous weather for them, unfortunately, but it was a bank holiday. What did they expect? 10-mile route, everything was going great. There was hundreds of thousands of people there. Some people say millions, some people say more than a million, some people say not really a million. But anyway, there was a lot of people there. I saw a photograph from the other side of the River Mersey, and there was basically a red cloud directly over the Three Graces and the whole of the Liverpool side, and it was spectacular. And then things changed. There was horror after a car hits pedestrians. A 53-year-old white man was arrested. The police were very quick to say this is a 53-year-old white man, which I don't have a problem with necessarily. They're giving the information out really quick so that people know that it wasn't, say, a terrorist attack as such. I mean, it is a terror attack if people are deliberately being rammed by a car, but not religious terrorist attack. So it was a white man aged 53 who's been arrested, and that's what they said on the night. There was 27 people in hospital, 20 odd people were treated at the scene but didn't need hospital treatment. Those figures changed later on. But I mean, seeing some of the video, not all of it, I didn't look it up, it was just what I saw on the news. It's amazing that no one actually died, and the good news is people still in hospital are actually a lot better than what they were. Tuesday the 22nd, the man is arrested on dangerous driving, attempted murder, and driving while under the influence of drugs after the car hit people at Liverpool. 11 still in hospital on Tuesday. The driver, apparently in his Ford Galaxy car, followed an ambulance through a blockade and then tried to get around the ambulance. Now, whether we ever find out the whole thing or not, I don't know. But going back to the naming the 53-year-old white man arrested, my big question would be, if it wasn't a white man, would they have given the information of the nationality of this person that quickly? Have they learnt from the Southport massacre that not telling people the truth about what's going on actually leads to more trouble in the long run? I don't know, but we'll never know, because it was, well, they've charged this guy now, this 53-year-old white man, but if it had been anyone else, would we know these details this quick? Wednesday, Prime Minister visits Liverpool. I mean, they've had enough trauma already, and then he goes and visits them. After the incident, revised figures say 7 are in hospital and over 80 were injured in total. There were some people who didn't need treatment, or didn't go for treatment directly. They actually took themselves to hospital. So a couple of days later, the figures are more ironed out as to what they were. So 80 were injured, 7 still in hospital. And then today, a 53-year-old Paul Doyle is named as a driver, and he's charged with 7 offences, including the ones I mentioned earlier on, and will no doubt appear in court very, very soon indeed. And luckily for everyone involved, including him, no one died, which is, to paraphrase Boy George, a miracle. Hiya Calderdale, Top Cat, hope you're good. Which brings us to the rest of the news, because there's other stuff been going on as well. Friday the 23rd, Trump says EU negotiations have gone nowhere, so a 50% tariff is going to go on next week, which is this week, but this was last week, so it's this week. Gas and electric bills to drop by 7%, so about £129 off an average bill, but still 10% higher than last year. And it's summer when these things are going in, so they're going to put the prices up again when it's winter. I don't know. Meanwhile, on Saturday, a man arrested after 3 die in a house fire in Brent, London. A mother and her 3 children, 15, 8 and 4, died. Not sure who the man was. Getting a frog in my throat. But he was arrested at the scene. Hi quickly, hope you're good. Royal Mail to be investigated by Ofcom for not delivering mail on time or at all, as I found out a couple of times. Sunday the 25th, Angela Rayner refuses to confirm if changes to winter fuel allowances will be available this coming winter. So, if you remember last week we were talking about Trump doing a U-turn, but not really a U-turn because he didn't give any details. When is a U-turn not a U-turn? When it's, well, to be fair, he does nothing but U-turns, doesn't he? Starmer. Anyway, so yeah, Starmer said that they're going to reconsider at the next economic thing that they do, event, which is the budget in the autumn. They're going to re-look at the winter fuel payments, but it's too little too late, as I said before. Angela Rayner says she's not going to say if that change is going to be in time for this winter coming, and that means they've done 2 years then, if it's not, of not paying pensioners winter fuel payments. So not had the figures yet of excess deaths through the winter. Always takes a while to get them. Alan Yentob, TV presenter, died, aged 78. I liked Alan Yentob. I used to watch a lot of his stuff when he was on. I didn't go out of my way to watch it, but if it was on and he was on it, I always find him interesting and asking the questions that I'd be asking if I was with celebrities. He did one not long ago with the Pet Shop Boys and various other celebrities. Really, really cool guy, but sadly has passed away at the age of 78. Tuesday the 27th, Labour may be considering to lift the 2-child limit for means-tested benefits. Nigel Farage says yes, we need to do that. I'm not sure myself. I know our population is going down, the British population is going down, but the actual population itself isn't going down, and some people who may not be British have more children than people who are British. So I kind of see both sides of the arguments. You know, there are some people who have in the past openly said that they've had kids because the more kids you have, the more money you get, and you don't have to work and do anything, you just get free money. So that's wrong, but then again, we need more children, so give someone an incentive. Maybe just move it to 3 rather than 2. I mean, they did in China. Remember, for China for years it was 1 child. If you had another child, you were shot, or one of the parents was shot, so it kept the population the same. That's not true, by the way, I made that up. Although it's China, anything could happen. But it does seem weird, this one. We need to do something, but I don't think we need to. Can the country afford to pay for all the children? I don't know. And should we let people sponge off it? I don't know. But we need to do something. I think 3. Because China went up to 2, and now I think it's 2 point something, which I don't quite understand how you can have point something of a child. Unless, like China, 2 children only scenario. But you've got this thing of you need to get more people. But then other people are saying, I don't want to bring a child into this world that we're living in with all this uncertainty and everything. You kind of see that as well. So yeah, it's a tricky one. But populations around the world for native people in certainly European countries is going down, although populations themselves are not going down. Meanwhile, back to Labour, West Streeting says resident doctors, junior doctors, should say no to striking over the suggested pay rise of about 4%. But as I said last week, when they announced it was going to be 4%, we'd be getting strikes by the doctors because they want 30-odd% again. And Labour, as soon as they took power last year, just give them 30-odd% or whatever it was. So the junior doctors, they're now called resident doctors, assume that they'll be able to do it again. If they go on strike, Labour will just go, oh, go on then, have that money, go on, like that, and then just cut it somewhere else, because that's how it works. Wednesday the 28th, the CPS, Crown Prosecution Service, confirms 21 charges are brought against the Tate brothers, including trafficking and rape. The Tate brothers, Andrew Tate being the influencer. He's not as influencer as me, but he's also pillock. Basically brainwashing mainly young boys into thinking that he is the greatest thing since sliced bread, knows all about women, how to treat women and everything, and he's just an absolute disgrace to humanity. Anyway, he's in trouble in Romania where he lives, but he's allegedly going to come over to the UK to defend himself, which means he'll probably get arrested, which isn't a bad thing. Internal review says that Heathrow Airport did pretty good during the power outage that lasted for hours. Pretty good. I mean, internal view, so it's the company reviewing their own internal things, and they say that we did all right, didn't we? Really? I mean, you disrupted hundreds of thousands of people's journeys, some of which were once in a lifetime or for funerals and things like that, because you kept the place shut for longer than you needed to. Yes, there was a fire. Yes, the power went out, but they don't get the power just from one place. They get it from 3 or 4 other areas around the airport. So one's gone, so they just click a few switches, one would have thought, and it would power up from somewhere else. But no, 8, 9, 10 hours, and it was like a couple of days before it was all back to normal again. But they reckon they did all right. Not reported on BBC News at 10. £123 million fine for Thames Water. Thames Water being one of the water companies that are claiming that they've gone bust. They've not delivered water to people properly. They've not gone on the infrastructure. They've been polluting here, there and everywhere. So they've been fined £123 million. BBC didn't mention that. For breaches of, what they're supposed to do. The problem is, who pays for that? Well, it's the people in Thames Water, isn't it? I mean, it'll come out of Thames Water's bank account, assuming they've got 123 million in there, but that bank account will be filled again, fairly swiftly, with these essential rises that we have to do to improve the infrastructure. It's all a con. Water companies should be renationalised. Of all the things that should be nationalised, water companies are it. We cannot survive without water. Why are we letting companies cream off profits, pay dividends, pay shareholders, make lots and lots of money on something that is essential to life? What I've said before, and I'll say again, is the water companies were bought 20 odd years ago, whenever it was, for an amount. So add inflation to that amount. So say it was £10 billion it was bought for, and these are numbers I'm just plucking out. So today's money, it would be £10 billion that was paid for a water company. They've paid shareholders and paid dividends and paid bonuses to various employees and, like I say, shareholders and all that. That might equal, I don't know, maybe £6 billion. So that puts us up to £16 billion. They've then invested into the water network, which was Victorian and not designed for the amount of people that are around now, wasn't designed for the number of properties being built, particularly in city centres, all these apartment blocks with hundreds of floors between them, with thousands of toilet showers and everything. All the infrastructure's not designed for all that. It was terraced houses when it was built in Victorian times, so they've not upgraded it. Then, no, whatever they've upgraded, we knock off that. So if they've spent £3 billion, no, hang on, I did it the wrong way around. Right, 10 billion. They've paid themselves 6 billion in creaming off. So we take that off the 10 billion. So it goes down to 4 billion. So now we give them 4 billion to get it back, because we want that profit. It belongs to us. But they have spent 3 billion on doing it up. So we add that back on again. So that takes us to 7 billion. So we basically buy that company back for 7 billion, tell them to F off, and we, instead of paying profits to shareholders and to big bosses and all that kind of thing, those profits go into actually repairing what we've currently got and making the infrastructure capable of coping with today's demands. So there you go. And it wasn't reported on the BBC News at 10. Talking of water companies, also yesterday, a drought was declared in the northwest of the United Kingdom, i.e. here, where I am. How does that work? I did a walk when I walked past a very small stream that was bone dry, but it's since absolutely monumentally down, as it does. The water companies are not doing what they're supposed to do. So no, we don't have privatised water companies. We nationalise them using the method I've said. Obviously a lot more involved than that. So whatever they paid back in the day plus inflation, knock off any bonuses, any dividends, any shareholders profits or anything, any money they've made on it or given away. We knock that off, and then we add on any money they've done for infrastructure, and then we just buy it back for whatever that price is, which I pretty much guarantee will be less than what they paid for it, because that's how private companies work. I never understood why governments, in particular, like to privatise things. So if it's costing you £1 million a year for a service, be it, I don't know, maybe it's carers for pensioners or something like that, and it's costing a council £1 million a year to run this, but then they find out that they can get a private company to do it and they only have to pay them £750,000, so they've saved £250,000. Great, well done. But this private company isn't doing it out of the kindness of its heart. It's got its shareholders, it needs to make money. So out of that 750,000, it's going to take at least 150, I would have thought, for profit and running costs and all that kind of thing, which means the actual money getting through to the pensioners and the carers is now £600,000 instead of £1 million, which means the wages aren't great, which means they're always short-staffed, which means the pensioners suffer. It doesn't really work when you privatise things like that. So I don't believe in privatisation of stuff. Stop it. Anyway, Thursday the 29th, that's today. US court blocks Trump's tariffs, saying he overstepped his authority in just imposing these tariffs under an emergency law, whatever it was. Apparently, he can impose these tariffs anyway, but he has to use a different law. So, no doubt he'll be back again with his little board of numbers saying, these are the tariffs we're doing now, because China not nice and all that kind of thing. Starmer says Reform UK's economic policy cannot be trusted, and says Farage's policies are like Liz Truss all over again. Well, Sir Keir Starmer and Rachel from Accounts, I'll tell you what, mate. If Farage is Liz Truss all over again, and we can't trust his accounts, his policies, are you actually standing by your policies? I mean, you've basically ruined the economy. You're basically shutting down small businesses. You're basically, I don't know. I don't understand why he thinks he's doing good things. He's not. His policies are beyond shyston. And that's not even a joke. Anyway, that was the serious news. So let's get on to... It's time to look at news which is a bit more fun. It's a close call. Andrew's text news at 9:10 is almost as good as yours. Oh, whoa, come on, calm down. I missed that one. So we're on the fun news now. The fun news is, well, I say fun news. It's news that's occurred whilst other things have been going on. Or it's just, I do like looking at memes. I've kind of become a bit of a meme, not a guru, but meme fan. The bad news is there's not a lot this week because I've been that tied up with other stuff. I've been mad busy, so we haven't got as many to get through. But this is mixed messages, isn't it? Do you want to be seen, mate, or not? So he's got camouflaged trousers on and a high-vis jacket. So yeah, mixed messages there. A meme? Insidious, the Red Door. It ends where it all began. Among the best horror franchises ever made. And this is a picture of a mock-up of a DVD cover, or a Blu-ray cover. Keir Starmer, Angela Rayner, Lammy, and the t'other guy, whose name I can never remember. All looking menacingly on the Insidious, the Red Door. Because, yeah, they're basically robbing everyone, all people who deserve it, and people who don't deserve it, they're just letting them get away with it. Here's a fact for you. There was just 32 years between the maiden flight of the Spitfire and the maiden flight of Concorde. I actually saw Concorde before it went into service as an airliner at an air show, don't know where. And I vaguely remember it flying over. I was only a very small child. What I remember more is my mum's then boyfriend almost having a fist fight with another guy in the car park as we were trying to get out of the car park because everyone was all blocked in with everything else. So I remember that more than anything else. But anyway, back to the DVD mock-ups. This one, based on the Bruce Willis movie franchise, of which there were too many. First two were the best by far. I go 2, 1, 3, but other people say 1, 2, 3. Lie Hard 3. It's in cinemas now. There's David Lammy again, and Keir Starmer. Sorry. Oh. Road closed as man gets stuck up a tree trying to rescue a parrot. We can laugh at this because both the owner and the pet were unarmed. Yeah, I mean, it's a parrot. It can fly. It's not stuck in a tree. It can fly. Remember going to the Manchester airport watching the maiden flight of Concorde. Alright, was that the one with Blue Peter on it? Because I remember they flew to the first transatlantic crossing. They flew on it. But yeah. Oh, still to do with aeroplanes. We've all been there, bloody parrots. You got to be quickly, otherwise they fly off. Both Michael Jackson and Seth MacFarlane almost died on 9/11, but slept in too long. Michael Jackson and Seth MacFarlane both narrowly avoided being involved in the 9/11 attacks due to oversleeping. Michael Jackson had a meeting scheduled at the World Trade Center that morning, but missed it because he stayed up late talking to his mother and overslept. Seth MacFarlane was booked on American Airlines Flight 11, which crashed into the North Tower, but he arrived late to the airport after a mix-up with his itinerary and a hangover, missing the flight by just minutes. Yeah, no, you're alright, Dream, don't worry about it. But yeah, it's one of that, that is one of them sliding doors movies. Sliding doors moments, isn't it? When things, do you go left, do you go right, and your whole life changes. I mean, sadly for Michael, it wasn't a long-term thing, but yeah. It was horrendous though, wasn't it? Now, I'm a very heavy sleeper. I've slept through loads of things. Earthquakes, police raids on houses nearby, a fire at a house when I was a child. Not my house, a different house, but nearby. And, you know, car crashes and all that other stuff. Just absolute carnage and mayhem, and I like that. Sleep like a log, me. However, hats off to this gentleman, who you may have seen, whom slept through a container ship nearly hitting his house. Not just any container ship. This is an M&S container. No, it's not. And not like missing his house by a million miles. No, I mean literally just missed his house. No explanation yet as to how the ship ended up hitting the land at a rather jaunty angle. But the gentleman, fast asleep, knew nothing about it. It was only when people banged on the door to wake him up that he was aware something was wrong, and even that took a while. I mean, it's amazing, absolutely amazing that you could sleep through that. But there you go. And to be fair, I probably would have slept through that as well. I mean, I wonder if he dreamt the earth moving for him, because it must have done. I mean, look how close it is. It's ridiculous. Meanwhile, breaking news in Australia. A machete possession ban has been fast-tracked in Victoria to take effect by midday on Wednesday, with the ban on sales announced as effective immediately. This marks Australia's first total machete ban, and it comes after machete-wielding youth gangs clashed at a shopping centre in Melbourne the day previous. Australia has only just come up with the idea of maybe banning people walking around town centres with machetes? Only just come up with that? What? Anyway, well done for catching up with the majority of the rest of the Western Hemisphere. I don't know when it has been refloated. I've not heard anything since, to be fair, but I mean, the story itself is just hilarious. Millions in Australia to face electricity hike. Aussie households are set to face electricity price hikes of nearly 10% in the oncoming months, prompting a call for customers to shop around for a better deal. Residential customers in New South Wales, South East Queensland and South Australia face the sharpest increases from July the 1st, with increasing transmission and wholesale electricity costs believed to be behind the price rises. Now, one of my big arguments in the UK for price rises was, I got it that world prices went up because of the Ukraine war and all that kind of thing. I get that. Yeah, okay. I don't get the whole price rise, but I kind of get, things go up because of, circumstances beyond our control. But it doesn't cost any more to transport electricity or gas from a building or a power station or an oil refinery or a gas pumping station or whatever it is. It doesn't cost more to send that down the line because it costs more. That doesn't work. I don't understand. That's because it's winter there indeed. That's what I was thinking. We're going down because it's summer and they're going up because it's winter. But it's just ridiculous that they're using the excuse that it costs more to send it down the line. It doesn't cost more. It doesn't matter how much the electricity costs. Standing charges should only be for repairs and maintenance of the network. Nothing else. Your auntie lives in Victoria, Australia. I miss Sean Locke comedy, although I never really watched him on 8 or 10 Cats Does Countdown, but it's not been the same since he passed away, unfortunately. But one of his jokes, I don't trust joggers. They're always the one who find the bodies. You can't argue with that. Meanwhile in Wigan, if there's something strange in the neighbourhood, who are you going to call? Well, that's going into Ashton-on-Mersey. And it's Ghostbusters. Yeah, I liked Sherlock as well. He was brilliant. One of my favourite things he did. Libra said our bills were good. They're going down. Keep up, Dream Frequency. They're going down by 7%. They're going up in Australia. Australia's not anything to do with Libra. Genghis Khan's army killed so many people that it caused the regrowth of 142,000 square kilometres of forest and removed 684 million tonnes of carbon from the atmosphere. So, say what you can, what you want about Genghis Khan. I mean, it was a cool song by Boney M. But he helped slow down global warming 200 odd years ago. So there you go. Well done, Genghis. We've misrepresented you over the last few centuries or whatever. You're actually trying to save the planet. So well done. This is Jimmy Carr, and he's one of these people that people don't like, but I like him. Again, 8 out of 10 cats is the only other thing I watch him on. Although I do follow him on social media, and some of his responses when people text in questions or statements when he's on stage are quite good and quite quick as well, really. British men spend on average 22 minutes on foreplay. Of course, that is spread out between all of us over the course of a year. Meme time. This is Leonardo DiCaprio in, I think it's A Great Gatsby, I'm not sure. Wait a minute, how do I plug a USB stick into this £2,000 MacBook? Apple, just buy this for $70, and it's a thing that plugs into the MacBook that you then plug your thing into, and that's exactly how Apple have made a lot of money over the years. But of course that's getting stamped on now because they've been told they have to use USB-C or any other commonly used connectors and not have their own individual ones. So yeah. RAF pilots who saw UFOs fear going public over concerns for families and jobs. Rumours of possible UFO sightings by the RAF pilots are rife, and now a pressure group is urging PM Keir Starmer to bring in rules protecting whistleblowers who shed light on potential extraterrestrial interactions. Yeah, they're all mad, so don't worry about it. Man hit with 10-hour parking fine while his car was sat at home. Football fan Cal Murphy was hit with a £100 parking fine for leaving his car outside shops for almost 10 hours in Liverpool city centre, despite it being on his driveway the entire time. Genius. Cloned plates, I reckon. The Earth's core is rich with gold, and it's leaking to the top. More than 99.999% of the Earth's gold lies buried under 2.9 kilometres, 2.9 thousand kilometres, which is 1,800 miles of solid rock. But new findings mean some of the gold we currently have may have come from the Earth's core. So after I finish this, I'm going to get my extra long drill bit. I'm going to go drilling in my garden, see if I can get some gold coming out of the ground. There'll be gold in that there muck. Although no matter look, the muck I get into would be the sewers. I think I mentioned this in passing last week. North Korean officials face being shot over Kim Jong-un's warship disaster. A warship ended up on its side during its launch ceremony where Kim Jong-un was present, and the Supreme Leader has since said the incident had severely damaged the country's dignity and pride. No, it hadn't. There was no dignity or pride with North Korea, so it's not damaged anything. If anything, it's made us think you're quite pathetic and useless. But we knew that anyway. But yes, no doubt the people involved will mysteriously disappear, or if they were Russian, they'd probably accidentally fall out of a hotel window, even though they weren't in the hotel at the time, or maybe commit suicide by shooting themselves in the head 16 times with a shotgun, which seems to be the way that people who upset Vladimir Putin end up. Crap builders, yeah. I mentioned it last week. Megalodon uncovered as 80-foot beast ate sharks and had teeth the size of human hands. Not Donald Trump's human hands. They're tiny. They were baby teeth, normal-sized human hands. New studies have revealed the shocking size of the largest shark that ever lived, as well as its chilling eating habits, as it mauled smaller fish with its massive teeth. Well, that's how it lives, isn't it? It eats things. One thing I would say is, it's not the biggest one ever, because I've had a video cover in my shop with the film Megalodon, or is it Meg 2, where it's eating, or there's a mini sub coming out of its mouth. So that's got to be bigger than 80 foot. So, I mean, yeah, they don't get the facts right, do they? The films are always right. Mysterious UFO base on mountain known for missing people is a new alien hotspot. The CIA has never confirmed the alien base. However, the declassified documents allege that there are alien bases in Alaska, Africa, or South America, and on Titan, Saturn's largest moon. So yeah, I believe them now. I think it's all true. Pardon me. Sorry. Just read that then. I've kind of skipped past it before, but I didn't read it. Fed up fellas are fuming after Men's Shed Association was taken over by a woman. Caroline Ellis has been named Chief Executive Officer for the charity set up to encourage lonely blokes to get together to combat social isolation and improve their well-being. And men are livid, because let's be honest, most of these men are around my age, middle-aged or elderly, and women's places are by the kitchen sink, not in a shed in a garden telling men what to do in a shed in a garden. Grrr, and all that. Sorry, I went all Victorian then. Fuel breakthrough could enable electric aeroplanes with zero carbon emissions. Scientists at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, have proposed a solution that could aid in electrifying transportation systems and lay the groundwork for electric planes. No, hydrogen. Done. I'd said this to someone, they said, yeah, but what happens if the plane crashes? It's hydrogen. I'm like, jet fuel is explosive as well when planes crashes. You've got no chance if it's at speed on land. Doesn't matter whether it's hydrogen or whether it's jet fuel. Or batteries, because they would explode on impact anyway. And batteries are too heavy to go into aeroplanes. There'd be a weight limit on people going in there. Anyway, from the ridiculous to the absolutely sensible. Woman married to ragdoll shares reason her relationship is now falling apart. And no, it's not because she's been on top of it too much and it's literally falling apart. Merovin Rochelle Moraz, 39, says her hubby, a life-size doll, has been cheating on her, and now their marriage is falling apart after announcing she is pregnant with his fourth child. See? A ridiculous story before about the aeroplanes, but then a perfectly reasonable one there about a relationship falling apart. Curry's worker sues for racism after his mug goes missing. Curry's worker Adil Habib sued for racism when his mug went missing, but an employment judge rejected his claim and said his reaction was out of proportion and confrontational. Well done to that judge. Angela's hubby agrees with me about the hydrogen. There you go. See? One person at a time. We'll get there. 3 hidden asteroids hurtling towards Earth with blast stronger than atom bomb. Scientists have warned 3 huge asteroids capable of wiping out entire cities could be hurtling towards Earth within weeks, and we wouldn't even know about it because we can't see them. So how do they know they're there? I mean, obviously this thing's flying around in space and one of them's going to hit us at some point. We know that. But that's just scaremongering. There might be 3, but we don't know because you can't see them. Well, you don't know anything then, do you? So shut the bleep up. You're bleeping bleep, bleep, and bleep, and bleep bleep. There you go. Just got to see something. Just realised something I was going to do, I was going to look at, and I didn't. Just bear with me a second. no, 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 no. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Story that's very relevant to what we're talking about. Need to find it again though. Oh dear me. Sure I did it, didn't I? Oh well, I'll have to describe it to you, but it's hilarious. How does Curry's racism case have nothing to do with Curry? Oh, that was very quickly. Well done. Britain gets new speed limits for first time in 2 years. Wrexham County Council has reversed the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit along certain roads in the region and reinstating a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. And frustrated locals and me, even though I've not been to there for a long while, agree that that is exactly what they should have done. Because it's absolute nonsense, the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit on all roads in Wales for safety. It's not safe at all. Meanwhile, SpaceX mega rocket explodes as Musk admits he spent too much time on politics. The Starship rocket was SpaceX's 9th test flight, and everyone has ended in disaster. Elon Musk has admitted he's probably spent a bit too much time on politics. So he's going to come back and have a go at flying rockets. Bloke cloud sucked 8,500 metres into the sky and left covered in ice crystals. Pyongyang, 55, with a 4.5 years paragliding pilot experience, claimed he had no intention to fly on Saturday and was testing the equipment's comfort level when he was sucked into the air and ended up in a cloud and covered in ice. Ice weighed down his paraglider and he ended up coming back down to earth really quick, and it rained directly below where he was. Super volcano warning issued over eruption that will plunge planet into chaos. It looks like a set for Doctor Who, that, to be fair, not a super volcano, but boffins have warned one of the world's super volcanoes is awakening. An eruption could have a devastating impact on the millions of people living around the volcano and could bring global consequences, which could be basically blocking out the sun for a little while. A glacier collapses and wipes out village, burying homes in snow and debris. A massive amount of the Birch Glacier collapsed on Wednesday in the Swiss Alps, sending snow, ice, mud and debris crashing down a mountainside and burying part of a village. I've seen video of it. It's quite frightening, really. Unless you're a professional driver and will stick at 20 mile an hour to get more money out of the customer. Yes, indeed. Professional drivers, I love them all equally. Well, hate them all equally. And finally, I've not had one for a while, and I don't think I've seen this Banksy before, but there's a Banksy of a child spray painting a child's version of a flower on a wall, all in black and white with a gas mask on, and in the gas mask you can see a reflection of actual real daisies and beautiful landscape, all in beautiful colour. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I say, it's a wonderful thing. Which brings us to the breaking news. So this is the news that has been breaking whilst I've been talking about the news. Kind of all goes like that, doesn't it? Kind of all works. Kind of, kind of goes like that, because it's, news that's been breaking while I've been breaking the news. Apparently sunset's just about to go in. So what's been happening today? Dua Lipa, Gary Lineker and Benedict Cumberbatch joined figures urging PM to end UK complicity in Gaza. Can't argue with any of them, even though Gary Lineker is one of them. The Heathrow boss slept until 6:45 a.m. on the day of power shutdown due to his phone being on silent. I think if you're in a job like that, you should always be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter what. The hosepipe warning as 5 English counties in drought. What's that? London Football Club pulls out of FA regulated leagues over trans player ban. Well, more fool them. Stolen First World War plaque found in scrapyard. Now, this was a thing, wasn't it, a while ago, where war memorials were being desecrated by the plaques being taken off, either with the dates of the wars and everything, or, worse still, the actual sheets of the names of those who perished in the wars, who give the ultimate sacrifice so we could live the way we are, well, the way we were 10 years ago. But I think scrapyards should be shut down, and the people who take these in should be imprisoned for it. Because if someone comes to you with a load of plaques with names on and sells it to you as scrap metal, unless you're a complete idiot, you know they've been stolen. So therefore you're handling stolen goods. So you should go to prison, and your workplace should be bulldozed. And yeah, I have no sympathy for it. Same with people when they nick copper pipes from the side of railway lines, or they nick copper pipes from the cable, from cable TVs or telephone lines, things like that, and then they roll up at a scrapyard, and the scrapyard buys it. No, if the scrapyards didn't buy it, then the people wouldn't nick it because they wouldn't be able to sell it. So punish the scrapyards, as well as the people who do the heinous crimes as well, obviously. Liverpool, what we learned from police. Well, they changed their tactics, didn't they, as I said earlier on, regarding not naming, but saying that the person who was arrested or detained over the car incidents on Monday at the Liverpool Premier League parade incident was white male from the Liverpool area. But I question if they would have said, if it was a non-white, say, asylum seeker or something like that, would they have given that information out straight away? Would they have kept that from us as long as they could? Two-tier justice? I don't know. I don't believe people should be named until they are charged over incidents. But I think them saying, see, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because they said he was male, he was white, and he's 53, and he's born and bred in the Liverpool region. They think that's going to solve the problem of what they didn't do over the Southport atrocity. But if it hadn't been a white male from Liverpool, what would they've told us? And that's the worrying thing. It gets you thinking, doesn't it? There's a Hamilton by-election candidate who says, Labour's Hamilton by-election candidate says, they are in it to win it, says Angela Rayner. Well, good luck with that. So it's bank closings, pranksters. Loose Women star Nadia Swahila criticises out the blue ITV daytime cuts. ITV apparently have scrapped a load of daytime TV shows. That they were shit anyway, to be fair. Bank of England governor urges deeper ties with EU to minimise Brexit's impact. No, the whole point of Brexit was to get away from it. Helicopters rescue cattle near Swiss village buried by the glacier collapse. Tiger Woods' son wins first American golf tournament. Markets jump after court rules against Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs, so the economy is getting better again in the world. British woman in France wins back pre-Brexit right to vote in EU elections. Kool and the Gang's Michael Sumler dies in car crash. I don't know, well, they're all singers in Kool and the Gang, aren't they? We've got dazzling bright planets in the skies. I saw one last night on the way home, didn't I? I commented on it. Man charged after car, we've done that. Constance Martin's partner Gordon is convicted rapist. Baby manslaughter trial is sold. Tate brothers to return to the UK to face the rape charges. Ukraine-Russian war latest. Moscow proposes fresh Istanbul's talks after Trump pushes deadline on Putin. UK condemns 22 settlements in occupied West Bank. You can't do anything else, but we'll still bend over backwards for Benjamin Netanyahu. What has he got over Western governments and Western leaders? Body found in urgent underwater search for a teenage girl who fell into a reservoir. Tragic case there. Russians sent North Korea air defense system as thanks for the troops. Discussions on US ceasefire proposal are ongoing, says White House, on the Middle East crisis. So there you go then. That's the news that's been breaking whilst I've been breaking the news. No, I've not broke it. It was already broke. Everything's broke. I don't want to go back into the EU by Starmer, as he's thinking of putting us back into it. I voted to leave. Exactly. The guy's not got a clue. More people voted to leave the EU than voted him in as Prime Minister. In fact, more people have... what was it? Oh no, 1 million people less voted for him this time than when they got wiped out in 2019. It's just that no one voted for the Tories. Anyway, back to what I was talking about before. Can I do this? Just about. There's an old lady, 105. My mother got 100 at the weekend, but 105. And they asked her, what's kept you, alive and so alert and everything? And she says, drinking beer. And she's got a pint of Guinness in her hand. There you go. So cheers. So that is it for this one. We've got 5 watching at the minute. We've got 6 likes. We've had 44 people watching, average of 9 people at any one time. Big shout out to the people who commented. So Angela O'Kane, Dream Frequency, T, Quick Lee, Calderdale, Top Cat. Yeah, that's it. Dream Frequency voted leave as well. Yeah, I think people with half a brain voted leave. So half the country. Anyway, that is it. I will say thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are. And all being well, I will see you again next time. Until then, I'll be seeing you. This is where the cat comes back in again. Bye.